And we're live. Let's give it some time to let people get in here. Just got the notification and no one yet.
Okay.
And
did I totally just kill whatever I was doing?
I think you might have.
Okay, there I am. Yay, I'm back.
There you are.
My bad.
Sweet. Okay. We have some people in here. Hey, Richard. Hey, everybody. Welcome back for our 800 millionth installment of our Wednesday PMA sessions. That number may or may not be accurate, so give or take a couple.
It worked.
Today, we are here with Liz, the sex expert, myself, of course. We've got Heather Sneed, and we've got our other Heather. She's a board member. She is in Pittsburgh and came to Rob through Love, Hope, Strength, as I did myself. We've got full ladies for you. Unfortunately, Rob is on a plane right now, I believe. So we are hoping that that is safe and that he gets home intact. And Tina's out in West Virginia as well. So you've just got all ladies today. And we're happy to have you back. Today, I think we'll kind of be talking. We definitely brought Liz, the sex expert, on. We were going to talk a lot about sort of female sexuality and liberation, how that is empowering. But then we threw in these other ladies as well. So I think we're going to focus on a lot of feminine health and wellness and just kind of chat for you. So how are you ladies doing today? Liz, how's your week going?
It feels like it should be 2 Fridays from today because my week has just been dragging on. But it's been going well. It's jam-packed and, hanging in there. Every day kind of blends together these days. So today I thought it was Monday of next week for whatever reason, and all my deadlines are on. So yeah, good. All things considered. Yeah.
Nice. I literally thought today was Tuesday pretty much all day, and I also thought it was that we were in July. So I learned today that it's August.
So we've got time travelers.
Yeah. The fun thing is I've been working for 2 months, so there's no reason I shouldn't know what month it is. But here we are. Heather Sneed, how about you? How's everything going?
So far so good. I've been doing chemo every Monday and radiation Monday through Friday, so I kind of know what day it is. Not really.
Oh, geez.
It's a day. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually going pretty well. I'm halfway done with my treatment and
nice.
Damn. Yeah. I guess I should lead by saying I had cervical cancer, so I ended up losing a lot of my lady bits. So this should be an interesting conversation for tonight.
Oh man. Well, you're no less of a lady, that is for sure.
Well, thank you.
True that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
That's for sure. Congratulations on halfway through.
Yeah.
Yay.
Fun celebrate.
Yes. Finally. Yeah. All I have left is my left ovary. So me and Lefty will be hanging out here with you today.
Nice. I think I
that-
always buy the left Twix, so I think left is the best one to have probably.
Left is the best one. So
yeah. Left
I think
best.
I think that would make a great tattoo. Me and my left ovary, like your arm around it.
Do it. You should get like a memorial tattoo for your right ovary.
Oh, that'd be fun. It turned out
That
to
would
be gigantic, which was super weird. Like I had a huge tumor growing off of it. So
Oh my god.
weighed like 20 pounds.
Oh my God.
No shit.
I had no idea there was anything wrong. Yeah.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I thought I was getting scrubbed because the gyms were closed.
Dang. Okay. Well, as our token hypochondriac, I'm gonna go see a doctor soon.
You should. Everybody get your pap smear. It's important.
Yeah. See that this is important. See, female sexuality, health, wellness, very, very important because shit can literally sneak up on you.
Yes. Hi, I'm a nurse. I had no idea I had cancer. So
Yeah. See, the fact that you're trained for that kind of stuff just tells me that I have every cancer right now. Like I have to, right?
This is going the exact wrong direction.
No, it's okay. Sorry, I'm the anxiety in me.
Yes, it's fine.
But I do really appreciate, I don't know how many of you know Heather personally. We're Facebook friends, but this is the first time we've met. Every day she does chemo, she posts herself with like as the Hulk or as Captain America, and it's been really, really inspiring, and I absolutely love it. And she is literally smashing all of it.
I appreciate
Awesome.
that very much. Today was Black Panther.
Nice. Nice. That's fitting. And I'm going to call you Pittsburgh Heather because I don't know your last name, unfortunately.
That's okay.
How are you today? How's your week?
So this whole like, what day is it? What time is it? I've been working as well. So I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I've been working like 80 hours a week since the end of February because I'm in tech, trying to keep up with all this. And last week we found out that my team was literally gutted with layoffs.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, like 25% of our team just was gone in a day. So everything that they were doing got shifted on to the rest of us. And we're all trying to process because the guy who started this organization, he didn't build an organization, he built a family. So we're all just kind of like freaking gutted. So yeah, so it's just, woo, I had,
Man.
it's like, it's okay not to be okay. And I'm here to support. Everybody's a badass, but sometimes you just have to go, wow, it adds up. So, but thank you for asking.
Of course.
You're the only person who's asked me all week.
That's not
So,
okay.
No.
That's not okay. Everybody, I mean, no matter how you're doing, just please remind yourself to ask each other how they're doing. You can have conversations about things. That doesn't necessarily mean you're asking how somebody is doing. It's just a simple few words. It's all about the language on that.
That is true.
Just check in. Check in. Thank you so much for joining us despite all of that. That is insane. And I hope that they unlay off the rest of your team because nobody should be working as much as that'll require you to do so.
It's crazy.
Thanks for being here. So I guess let's get started. Liz, I'll start with you. I know that I was looking through your Instagram page and all of that, and you kind of have your passion sort of is about educating women on their own sexuality and this and that. And I don't know how to properly even put that into words, because it's such a huge deal. It's such a huge thing that it's everything that sex education has left out for us for ever since the dawn of time, and it's super, super important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, we put that into great words. So I'm a sex educator, and my focus is female sexuality and pleasure and orgasm. So I feel like it's my sole purpose in life to fill in the gap that we've all missed out on with, sex ed in schools and from our peers and like the horrible sex ed we got from just porn and media and all that growing up. And I want to come in and get good quality, comprehensive sexual education into, I work with adults, but I also work with adults on working with their kids a little bit, in curriculum for K through fourth grade school to talk about sex ed there, which of course, up to fourth grade, we're not talking, P to V or anything like that. It was more about puberty and bullying around family structure and degrees of that. So, I love working with women and anybody who is a partner of women and empowering women to be the sexual goddesses that they all deserve to be.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Awesome. It's super important because I remember specifically for me, especially in high school sex education, when they talk about masturbation, they don't talk about female masturbation. They don't talk about any of that. They just didn't. And then when I was getting older and participating in sex, I guess is the way I'm going to put that. I'd never been educated on the fact that it can feel good for me or it's allowed to feel good for me or any of that. So it was very much, it didn't mean anything to me in a way that anytime that I was experiencing like a gray area of consent, I was not aware, or anytime as I kind of learned more and more, started like being more experienced with things, I just started feeling like I was really bad at it because I didn't know what to do or how to feel or any of this stuff. And it wasn't until I bought a vibrator for an art project when I was in school. And even though I had no business talking about any of that kind of stuff, but it was part of a sculpture and I decided to use it. And then soon after that, there was this woman, Sophia Wallace, who started this whole project called Cliteracy back in like 2012. and that's like literacy, but with a C in front of it, where she was just literally traveling around. She was doing TED Talks. She had all of these artistic installations about the structure of all of a clitoris and all of these things about like female orgasm, and the fact that there was only one surgeon on the entire planet who was working to rebuild like women whose clits had been removed, sexual mutilation, because in some cultures that's normal and terrifying. And that's kind of just when the entire world opened up to me. And it was when I started taking control of like my own sexual pleasure that I kind of realized what consent was and what I was comfortable with. And just discovering that sexuality is just as fluid as sexuality is, that's how fluid your own sexual pleasure can be. Everything you read, no two women are the same. And that was kind of a really important thing for me to learn.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Wow, you said so much in there. There was so much to unpack, and that was all fantastic. I love the whole run through. But especially what you said at the end, though, like how it's fluid. That's the one thing that a lot of people will have a hang up about when they come to me. And they're like, well, I used to like this thing, I don't like it now, or I didn't like this one thing, and I do like it now, but I don't really know how I feel about it. Like anal sex is one where I don't know if I can say them. Well, I'm going to say it. Anal sex. So I've had some people come to me and they're like, I know, my partner is talking to me about exploring anal, and I don't know if I'm into it. I've never done it, but I kind of want to get into it because I'm curious, and I kind of maybe not like it, and I think, well, you know what, it's okay if it's changed because the sexuality is ever evolving. I mean, all the time, from before puberty to after menopause, it's constantly going to be changing. Yes. And you just got to be okay with it, roll with it. And when you accept those raw desires and those changes in those raw desires, that's when like your liberation, the sexual liberation really starts to set in. And that's when you feel that empowerment. And that's what I'm talking about, like getting to your sexual goddess and feeling like, you're really taking control over your sexuality.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Heather.
So just last week, I saw the clitoris referred to as the devil's doorbell.
Oh my God.
And I thought, first of all, that's the best band name ever.
You're not wrong.
Right?
Call dibs on that, actually.
Like the devil, I was like, that's the best thing ever. But yeah, I mean, it was just last week I saw that, And it's kind of crazy that 2020, I mean, the year to end all years, somebody's, out there saying, oh, get back, get pregnant, stay back in the house. Because, if you're masturbating, you're playing with the devil's doorbell. I was like, oh my God. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
I actually saw a comment in a group that's like for making fun of these kinds of comments, but so I didn't like happen on it organically. But it was something about this guy ended up saying, if the woman doesn't need to achieve orgasm in order to reproduce, then God didn't care about your orgasm, so neither should I. I was just like, okay. It's like, yeah, you can stay back in 2019 and we can kind of move forward without people who feel that way. Yeah, it was just kind of just the fact that that's a way that people feel, I guess, about female orgasm achievement and female ejaculation. It just blows my mind that that's still kind of, people still think that's an okay thing to say.
You can come back to that and say, well, but God also gave a lot of women the ability to have so many different kinds of orgasms. Like men have one sexual response. It's like, the gearing up for it, the orgasm, and the resolution. And that's it. And women can have like all these different kinds of orgasms, all different kinds of stimulation, all different kinds of intensities and all that. And male orgasm, generally speaking, is one experience over and over again, and we have variation. So I think we lucked out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the first things that I ever learned when I really started looking at things was that the clitoris or the devil's doorbell, it's not just like that tiny little thing. It wraps, I'm going to call it that forever out of society. It wraps around, it's shaped more like a wishbone, right? So it's like it wraps around, and so there's so much area that is often ignored. that nobody ever thinks about. And it's just, if we have twice as many nerve endings, we might as well not let them all go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Exactly.
I'm lucky in the fact that my boyfriend was a whore in high school, and I'm totally benefiting from it right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's amazing.
I was raised way different. Like, you get married once, you only have one sexual partner, and if you get divorced, you're going to burn in hell, and that's that. So that led to me getting married at 19 because I know this is shitty to say, I felt guilty. Like, I had sex with him, now I'm going to have to marry him because otherwise eternal damnation. And thank God I've come a long way from there. But that's how I was raised. There was no like pleasure. There was nothing. None of that was discussed.
Yeah, of course not. You have to figure that out for yourself because nobody else is going to figure it out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that story is all too common. There are way too many women and people in general who grow up thinking that, just having so much shame and guilt surrounding any kind of, it's pleasure. How is it?
Yeah.
Going to be that.
And that's not how I was raised. Yeah. And it's like mind blowing that I missed out, or I got married when I was 19 because I felt bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually super Lutheran. That's how I was raised, and then I kept on it kind of on my own accord up until I kind of studied art history, and then I was like, everything is bullshit, and I've been lied to my whole life about everything ever, which isn't necessarily true for everybody. But I was absolutely like the one waiting for marriage and this and that. And one day, after I graduated high school, I don't know what sparked this. I guess I just didn't learn to have a lot of self-control. I was a very shy kid. The opportunity never really presented itself anyway. And one day I was just sick of it. And I just absolutely had a one-night stand just to lose my virginity. And I hated myself for it for a while. But I started kind of thinking about what made me feel like I needed to do that in a way that was just completely emotionless and whatever. And I don't super regret it, but it could have been a more educating experience for myself and for my body. And I think that's why I spent years just being like, sex is something that I don't really care very much about, is kind of what I taught myself. And then because I didn't ever teach myself how to feel good with it or how it could feel good for me or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was the same. It took me a very long time before I was even comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shit, why?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
so many wasted years, right?
Because you were taught that, right? And you're not alone. Those attitudes are pervasive throughout our culture, our society. They've been perpetuated by media, by all the institutions perpetuated that, right? So even being able to have this conversation in some other countries, they become knocking on our doors and coming to, take us to stone us, legitimately. I mean, we like to think that we've come far, but just the fact that somebody was calling at the devil's doorbell last week, makes me go, no, we really haven't. And it's okay for us to have these conversations, and it doesn't mean that we're loose. It doesn't mean that we have bad values. It doesn't mean any of that. And just washing that away and educating people. And I'm hoping as my generation and older starts to get on the other side, new attitudes can prevail, and things that Liz is doing, and the education that's out there, and really empowering us all to live our best lives and not feel fucking guilty about it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, it's so frustrating. So I'm on the other side, right? So I'm in my mid-50s. I've already been through the change. Thank God, because I just don't even have to worry about that anymore. But
I
going
can't wait,
through,
honestly.
Dude,
all I can say, to the men who are out there, your sisters, your wives, your aunties, any important woman in your life, when she's going through that, number one, be nice, because it's no joke. And number two, have some good sex, because those hormones are raging.
Like I said, I only have one ovary now, so I'm going to go through menopause. I'm finding myself crying at Hallmark commercials. I don't even watch Hallmark, but anyways, stupid things where I'm like, why am I crying? Oh, that's right, because all my shit's jacked up right now. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm 35. Like, that's something that I'm having to go through right now just because of this surgery. So it gets better.
Yeah, oh, yes.
It's amazing
Oh, God.
how much like all of that has to do with every way that we're feeling. Like our hormonal levels have, because I have that conversation, why am I crying every single month? Like every single month I have to ask myself, why am I crying? I'm like, oh great.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
right.
God.
Yeah, exactly. The floodgates are open. The parting of the Red Sea in front of the
Well,
devil's doorbell.
Shark.
Yes. So I found some feminine hygiene products in my car, and I was like, I can throw those away. I never need those again.
Feel free to donate to those of us who are not as fortunate to be done with it yet.
I'm not sure you want them at this point. They were rolling around the glove box for a
Oh,
while.
got it. Yeah, maybe I'll get those.
Oh,
Oh.
geez.
That's the other thing too. I think it was last year I went to buy a box of tampons at like a gas station just because it was an emergency. And I went up and the clerk was this man and he's like, oh, you're going to have to scan that yourself. I won't even touch those things. And I'm like, it's a cardboard box.
Off the shelf.
Yeah, it's not like I took them out and like stuck them up me and just handed you like
That's
empty
true.
ones. It's like, here, I already used this. Will you ring it up for me? Like, no, that's not the situation. It's a package. I was like, how is this still happening? Like, how is this still
And that's
something?
the grossest thing he's come across at a gas station convenience store.
Right?
I'm sorry. That's hard to
Right?
That's pretty telling on his
I
hair.
didn't even think about that. Oh my God. Yeah.
Ugh.
I feel like you have to have like a strong stomach to work at a gas station.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
But
100%.
tampons. Woo!
Ooh. Cardboard boxes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just
part of
mocking people.
sexuality that I don't know. The whole period thing, like, I am baffled that people are still disgusted to think about periods, hear about periods, talk about periods. Heaven forbid a woman says, "Oh, sorry, I have cramps," and they're like, "Oh, I don't need to hear that." You know, it's like, okay, well, we didn't. First of all, we didn't choose this because this would not be
Yeah. Second of all, if this weren't a thing, you would not have life. You wouldn't exist. Your mother would not have been able to give birth to you if this wasn't a thing.
Kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we can't get over periods, how can we get over sex? You know what I mean? It's just like,
Exactly.
but just having the conversations is so important. So, Liz, tell me. Like, what have you been working on? What realizations have you had where you were like, oh, snap. Didn't know that. Didn't know people didn't know that. I'm just curious. It's so fascinating what you do.
Oh man. Where to start? I mean, okay, so the thing that so the thing about the clitoris, actually, I'm surprised that you brought that up, Mackenzie, with the wishbone. I actually just made a post on Instagram, I don't know, 3 posts ago, about the clitoris and how it extends and has 2 legs and it sits over the vaginal canal. So that's one of my most favorite like fun facts to tell people. So that was already taken but I'll expand on that and say that a lot of people who think that the clitoris is that important are wrong and I'm talking specifically of people who say, you know, women should be able to come from just vaginal penetration alone. And, you know, this is the G-spot. And I'm like, well, you realize the G-spot is actually still clitoral stimulation because you're getting it from the inside. So your theory's wrong.
It's all the same thing. Yeah. And also, what is it? I think it's like only 30% of women or something achieve orgasm through simply vaginal penetration. Is that the number?
It depends on what study you look at, but the study that I remember the most is 18%. It's under 20. So I haven't looked it up lately, so it might have changed in the past couple years, but it's a small number. And so that's definitely one of them. The other one is a lot of people come to me with questions about, couples trying to align their sexual libido and, dips in libido, especially these days when we're all, those of us who are living with our partners and we're stuck at home, we're just all the time.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
And-
actually currently experiencing the dip.
Yes, and it is. I feel like there are two ends of the spectrum. One, you're experiencing that draw spell, and the other side is you have a huge spike in libido. And I'm not positive how long that would last for those couples, just because of the situation we're thrown in. But for the couples who are experiencing the dips in libido, I would definitely encourage them to remember the things that help you in any situation to up your sexual intimacy and libido, which is novelty. You always want to be keeping fresh and doing something new with your partner. It doesn't have to be like a new sexual act necessarily. It could be maybe you have sex in a different part of your house, like the stairwell. I don't know, who has sex in the stairwell on a regular basis? Probably not a lot of us.
That's me.
Or yeah, well, aside from each other.
Sorry.
But going, doing something new together, whether it's you take a trip, like a day trip and go hiking on a new trail or something. Getting your adrenaline pumping is another way, because when you have your adrenaline pumping, when you're with your partner, it causes you to scientifically be physically more attracted to that person that you're with when you're scared, when your adrenaline's pumping. So like, the classic example is, go take your date on a roller coaster and they'll fall in love with you faster, So, yeah. And then absence makes the heart grow fonder for real. So although we're stuck at home with each other, try to find your separate spaces, whether it's, you're going to stay upstairs all day, I'm going to stay downstairs all day, or you're inside and outside, and we're going to have, some hours apart so that we can miss each other.
I like I'm going to go for a drive and you're not coming with me. That's kind of mine. Like, I'm just going to leave and I'll see you later kind of situation.
Yeah. So those have been the trying to get your libido back up has been the biggest question that I've been receiving lately. The other thing I would say is if you're not masturbating regularly, that's another way to get your libido up, because the more you orgasm, you're going to, for women especially, you're going to naturally increase your testosterone, because women have testosterone as well, and that's what's responsible for your libido. So, and the more you orgasm and masturbate in general, but especially when you orgasm, it drives up your testosterone over time, and it's just kind of a fun way. It's a little counter. I'm sometimes met with some pushback on that one, because they're like, well, but I don't feel like doing it, so I don't really want to do it. And I don't want to say, just like make yourself do it, because you consent with yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But in that case, you can start small, like just touch your boobs and nothing else, and just stop there, and build yourself up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been trying to force myself to do, is just like, okay, remember to like love yourself. Like if you're not feeling sexual, whatever, I just have to remind myself. And sometimes I am a huge fan of porn. So sometimes I'll just force myself to watch porn until I feel like it, because you will get there. Like eventually you'll start wanting to participate. That's what I've learned.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of head shaking, like, yeah.
I'm like not even watching the comments on this. So we're either like have women agreeing with us, or have dudes being like, oh, this is fun.
I just want to say that, and I know this is totally random, but my boyfriend was with me when I was talking to my radiation oncologist, and they're like, there's always the possibility of having like vaginal canal issues because you're shooting radiation like straight at your bits, and they're like, so it's something that you can do. And you could tell that the radiation oncologist is like my age, and you can tell that she's used to talking to older women about this, because cervical cancer, blah blah blah, not exactly to all the young folks, but she started talking about a vaginal dilator, and I was like, okay. And I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? And she takes out this boring ass white medical grade non-vibrating and I'm like,
oh my god,
so a dildo. And she's like, well, Yeah, a vaginal dilator. I'm like, so am I supposed to have my insurance cover a really boring white dildo? I was like, if that's more than $20, like, I got you. Just, it's fine.
Cool, I got that covered.
It's fine. But you can
Oh
tell
my
me,
God.
it's like, no, legit, it's just a dildo. Like,
Can I get the rabbit model?
yeah, this
Yeah,
one's
right?
really boring.
That
Does
one
this
gonna
come
help?
with features?
Nope,
The
it was
waterproof?
a white, like, ugly flashlight. I don't know. It was the saddest dildo I've ever seen.
Oh my God. It reminds me of like that first toy that I ever bought, you know, when you're too scared to get something looking super,
Ooh,
super
yes.
fun.
Yeah.
But you're also like too scared to put real money into it. So it's also probably not very safe for you.
Yeah, catch fire or something. But I don't even think this one moved at all. You literally just
Yeah.
You can make it vibrate by getting a vibrating cock ring and just slipping it on the end of it.
done.
Done.
Resourceful. Resourceful.
Very, very.
You're good. You're good, Liz. You're good.
That is amazing. That is amazing. On that note, I just want to point out to anybody who may be watching who's just like thinking about kind of getting into toys or something, super, 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 super important to vet the companies that you're buying stuff from. Make sure that the silicone is actually like medical grade. Things like that. Don't store certain types of silicone together, otherwise they could melt together. Make sure the wiring and the batteries are always fresh and okay. Lots of things that should not happen while something is inside of your body. Can happen.
Yeah, but you go first. Yeah.
Hygiene, ladies. Hygiene. Keep it clean.
Yes.
That too. I was going down a different route because I'm an ER nurse.
Oh, that route.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that route.
Because you did what?
I'm an ER nurse.
Oh, ER nurse, yes.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
So we see a lot of people that are having fun, doing what they do, and they will lose grip
Yes.
and lodge it there. And I cannot tell you how many times we've had to take people to surgery to surgically remove vibrators from the anus.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it.
The flared base.
Careful. Yes.
Things inside of like rectums is one of my favorite things to look up for like x-rays when I'm bored. Like, and I'm sure most of them are Photoshopped, but it's really
What a fun pastime.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, they're not photoshopped.
It happened, like everything has been. What is the strangest thing you've ever experienced in that like realm of
stainless
medicine?
steel cleaner, like a big aerosolized bottle of a
Whoa.
stainless steel cleaner.
Oh my God, like a hairspray bottle. Essentially.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, stick to the hairbrush, guys. Don't.
He was
With
in the
a handle.
shower, minding his own business with his stainless steel cleaner. And
Was the nozzle up or out?
Up.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He tripped and fell.
I really don't want to laugh.
Please be careful. Just have fun, but don't come meet me. And if you do, we'll take care of you. You know, we got you. But ow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's super important. Probably, if you're buying smaller toys, the smaller the toy, usually it's going to be meant for like surface stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Larger toys, make sure they have kind of a base on them that isn't going to get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And actually, I'm going to make a quick plug, if I may. I am an affiliate for the company Metamore out of LA, and all of their products are body safe. So you can shop them front to back on all their pages, and everything's going to be safe to put on or in your body, depending on what they're for. And and if you're, if you go through my site, you can use my promo code and get a discount and free shipping and all that. So if anybody does want help with searching for toys or trying to figure out, you don't really know what you want, but you kind of want to talk to somebody, I'm happy to talk to people about trying to help them find toys and pairing it with the right lube because, as you said, Mackenzie, silicone is all life. So silicone lube, silicone toy, Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It'll eat it. You don't want that.
Yeah, I've lost some really expensive things to not properly lubing them.
I didn't realize
But that's the thing too. That's another way that women everywhere have been, or anybody with a vagina has been, done a huge disservice, and not just people, with everybody who has a sex organ, so that means everybody, is that for literally ever, sex stores were these really, really creepy dungeons of random videos and random toys that were usually kind of cheap, not really made body safe, and you had some super pervy looking person working behind the counter, and it was just scary. They're windowless. I never wanted to go in any of them. I know there's a store in Albuquerque that opened up kind of, probably I was around the age of 25, with like beautiful hardwood floors, and they actually offered educational classes and all that, and that really helped me and a lot of people in my own community to kind of feel a lot more comfortable with kind of just learning about our bodies and learning the importance of foreplay, because the straight, like one of the constants I think about with when I'm speaking to women about sex is that you have, not only does your body literally have to be ready, as in like things move around for us to prepare us, but like you have to be ready in your mind too. Otherwise that's not going to happen. So it's kind of you have to like literally get on that same level playing field. And that's what foreplay is for. But growing up, I didn't like sex because I thought it was just penetration. And I never was comfortable with the idea of foreplay because I didn't really know, it felt freaky and weird to me. You know, so I just wouldn't let myself kind of mentally get there. And it was just, that led to me feeling like I was terrible at sex, because I probably was. But it's not a fun thing to feel about yourself.
Same, girl.
Yeah.
Same. I feel you.
So if we can...
When you mentioned the creepy, dark
dungeon
looking toy store, it reminded me of college. I went to Indiana University, and there was a sex toy shop, and they also showed porn videos and all that. And it was more or less an unmarked building off the main strip, but still close enough to the rest of the bars and whatnot. But when it shows up on your credit card, it just says college bookstore. So all the college kids whose parents still check their bank statement. College bookstore.
Oh my God. That's
Nice.
brilliant.
Yep.
That's really brilliant.
I may have just ruined it for all of the college students that I use.
It doesn't just say like dick the box, like kind of just
Yeah, see, we never had one that was super dark. Ours was like a literal warehouse with high ceilings and just fluorescent lights. And you just walked in, it was just like racks and racks and racks of stuff. It just felt super, super strange.
overwhelming.
I was like, I could have just as easily been inside of an AutoZone. Like, there was no difference in like layout.
Wow.
That is definitely overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a different kind of oil change. Very much.
Very much so.
So, Miss Lindsay, so I'm just totally fascinated. So, do you have any like podcast recommendations or book or movie recommendations that you've seen that you think are like mandatory for folks? You know, since
Gosh, there's a lot of good media out there, and sexology is such a broad field. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're looking for, whether it is female sexuality or, kink positive stuff or what have you. I've recently been listening to, I think it's just called Sexuality podcast, and it's with Dr. Oh, I'm going to mess up her name, Dr. Mallers, and she's fabulous. She's also she's a sex therapist, and she interviews other, usually sexuality professionals, and so you get two really fantastic sexologists having a good conversation. And it's usually very, educational. Sometimes it can be entertaining, but it's mostly educational. And they're, 45-ish minutes.
yeah,
There's also Dan Savage Lovecast. I love Dan Savage. I don't know if anybody else has listened to Dan Savage here. No, he takes calls. So.
Yes, I do. Sorry, I'm typing these suggestions into the comments.
Oh, perfect. Savage Lovecast. He takes calls and answers them on his podcast, and he is very raw with his answers, and he will not sugarcoat things for you, but usually gives very, very sound advice. I don't agree with every single thing he says, but that's all right. It's such a personal thing. It's like each their own with all these information really anyway. As far as books go, there's tons of books. I am partial to Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. And that's definitely very female sexuality centered. And she's talking about her, orgasm and really embracing your pleasure as your own. And then any book by Debbie Hovanek is a home run. She works at the Mackenzie Institute. And I actually worked under her. She's sort of my mentor when I was at IU, and she's just fantastic. Her team and all the work that they do is very sex positive, puts everything in great lay people terms, and they're easy reads, but very informational, very digestible. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to throw in, I know I already brought her up, but I threw her in the comments. Sophia Wallace, her art project was called Cliteracy, but she does have a TEDx talk. And if you just search Cliteracy, which I put in the comments, you should be able to find it as well.
Because I remember, so thank you for all that. Like, that's just like good stuff. Because like you said, there's so much. And it's just like, I wonder what she's recommended. I remember discovering the story of O, like when I was in college. And it rocked my world. Because, I was already, sexually active. But then, finding a book that was all about BSDM and piercings and just that whole world. I was fascinated. I read it like 3 times. I thought it was amazing.
And when you find that book, it can be like your sex Bible, Holy Grail. And like you said, keep going back to it all the time because there's so much good information that most of us have missed our whole lives up until we pick up that book. And there's just so much that you can pick up that you didn't pick up the first time around. So that's awesome that you've been able to read it a few times. And
I thought it was so liberating when I found it.
Yeah. And that's such a good feeling too. And it's amazing what is learning about your own sexuality can do for you and your confidence and your ability to feel empowered. Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys.
Are you in the airport right now?
I am in the Chicago airport on a layover and thought I would tell everybody hello and thank y'all for doing this.
Of course. I was like, are we just going to be on speaker talking about sex while you're in O'Hare? Or is that Midway?
I'm in Midway.
Well, in that case, it's fine. A little bit more.
Midway's a little more rough.
Makes a little bit more sense in Midway than it does.
Well, I don't want to interrupt. I just wanted to tell everybody hello and thank you for the few minutes I had here. So.
Of course, we love you.
Travel safely.
Safe travels.
Yep, I'm on my way home. I got to work tomorrow. So.
Oh, geez. Get some rest.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Tell Dan to pull me out.
I will. Dan, pull him out.
That actually fit with our conversation today.
It did. So on this note of how liberating it can be for all of us, or the experience that we've had where it just kind of ended up being life-changing. I know for me, discovering that about myself and learning how to pleasure myself really kind of helped me get over sexual abuse that I experienced and all of that, because I didn't realize it was sexual abuse until I learned how to liberate my own sexuality. And then I was able to start this process of healing. So what is it that we can do to get this to be a topic of conversation within sex education classes for high school students and younger? It's still not really being offered up to students, especially in public schooling. So are there any funds? Are there petitions? What can we do to help get this stuff in the classroom?
Ooh, I wish I was more prepared for this question.
It's okay. I wasn't. I'm just coming up with these questions as I go along.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. I don't know them off the top of my head. I would say definitely vote.
Mm-hmm.
Voting is something you can do in your small local elections as well, which I would argue is more important in this particular situation. And talking to the school staff that your kids go to, if you have kids, or your niece or nephew or whatever, and just asking them and saying, hey, what are you doing for sex ed here? And putting them on the spot. And if they, public schools don't have a lot of leeway since they have to abide by state laws. But especially charter schools and private schools, they can do more of what they want to do as far as sex ed. And you can ask them, what are you telling the kids? What if they come and ask you a question about XYZ? How are you fielding questions from them and their parents? And
Those are good ideas.
You said what?
Those are good ideas.
Yeah. I would. I'm sure there's petitions and organizations that I'm just not thinking of right now. But
no worries. I mean, I think it's just one of those things that nobody knows. It's kind of a hard conversation to start because you're talking about how do we talk to children about sex? You know, especially in the world that we're in right now. It's just kind of, unfortunately, it's one of those things where I don't know if there's a right answer right now.
A crazy story. So when I was doing my student teaching, it was in Deep East Texas. Most of probably 90% of the kids came from single parent families, or they were broken homes, right? So, we had just, I don't know, I'm teaching 7th grade science, right? So kind of going along, and we were just getting ready to start talking about fungus, right? So I was like, turn to page, whatever, so we can start talking about, the fungus. And Bubba, I'll never forget, Bubba raises his hand and he said, Ms. Brown, is AIDS a fungus? And I thought, what do I do? Because if I start talking about it, because there was no sex ed, one of the 7th graders had already checked out because she was pregnant. I thought, if I start talking about this, I could lose my job. And I was like, turn to page, whatever. And I was like, Bubba, no, AIDS is a virus. And we talked about it. And I thought, they're going to go home and tell their parents. And I thought, they don't have any parents to tell. But I'm so glad that I just took the risk and said that, because he didn't know. He thought AIDS was a fungus.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is. It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't get fired still. So
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't, and I hope that maybe if you had, there would be a coalition of people fighting for you, because that would have not been okay either.
Well, you did exactly what I tell the parents who come to me and ask me how to handle questions from their kids about the birds and the bees. You did exactly what I advise them: is answer the question with just the answer they're looking for. You don't have to elaborate if it's not something that you're ready to launch into, because a lot of times for kids, that answer to that question is all they need, and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool," and they move on.
Yeah.
Other times, they keep asking questions, but if you keep doing the same thing and just answering that one specific, kind of shorthanded answer, but be honest about it, you're usually good to go there. Usually, asterisk.
Yeah. But yeah, trying to beat around it or trying to make something up to avoid having the conversation puts us in the reality that we're in now, where even grown adults don't understand how things work sometimes. And that can be really scary for a lot of reasons.
Well,
I'm sure
and
the ER nurse is aware of that.
Yeah.
We've got some very interesting complaints, and I had a kid come in. I say kid, he was 19, and he was convinced that he got an STD from a toilet seat.
Oh my goodness.
So it's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
I mean, at least he was afraid of STDs and willing to go check to see if he had an STD.
True. Yep.
I mean, that's the silver lining of that. That's the other side of it, is people also, we need to destigmatize getting tested for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if it's super unlikely that you've got HIV, just get tested.
Fair.
It's a finger print now.
He was worried that because he was in charge of cleaning toilets, that he was. Yeah.
That's even more insane.
So I kind of just dabbled so where'd you go to school? Thinking mom's basement, and it was public school, and I was like, oh, we have failed you.
That.
True
I mean,
story.
that's a whole other can of worms with schools being funded by property tax and all of that.
Yeah.
But
I was legit banking mom taught me in the basement, and no, he went to public school, and
that's so heartbreaking.
We have failed him. Yeah.
That is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I have a friend who we got to high school. So what are we, like 15 at the youngest?
14,
And
15,
yeah. And you know, we were just kind of, I was in marching band, so this was actually one time at band camp.
Mhm.
And
Those are the funnest sexual stories.
yes. And we were, you know, talking about sex stuff. And I don't know how it got on this topic, but at one point it came up that women have 3 holes down there. And she was like, no, we have 2. We're like, no, we have 3. And she goes, what? And her mind was blown. And today, I'm still friends with her today. She'll even bring that up and be like, I'm still so shocked that it took me so long. And I didn't even know that. And when would I have even found out about that? Because we were past sex ed because we were in high school at this point. So sex ed in Indiana was middle school and then in 5th grade. And obviously not that great because she thought we had 2 holes.
Honestly, I think our sex ed was wear deodorant. You're getting older. Like that's really the extent. I grew up in a very small town in California, and it was like the boys and the girls got, you kind of smell bad, so here's some soap and deodorant talk, and then they delved off to girls need pads and tampons, and that was it as far as like junior high. Okay, we did it. And then
that was. But that was my elementary school sex ed as well. Was pretty much just that, and then we learned some words that we couldn't pronounce and didn't mean anything to us because we were in elementary school. And then middle school and high school were kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it
like
wasn't different.
Everything I know about my body and sex, I learned on my own. Like that's just kind of like looking back, I'm like, this is just kind of how that worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they didn't teach us anything. I remember walking into 7th grade science class to Coach Lee's class, and Sharon and Daryl were like hanging all over each other on the door because they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they were like, we took a shower together. And I was like, why would you do that?
Could you not reach your back?
What?
Did you need help?
That's honestly why I take a shower with my boyfriend, is to scrub my back. But
absolutely.
Water's a terrible lubricant, so that's kind of where I'm at on that. It's like just for help.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Oh my god. Oh man. Well,
I apologize right now because my dog has found the squeaky toy and is trying to be obnoxious. I do apologize.
They do that on purpose.
It's true.
All right. Well, hey, I think it's somebody. It's either Dan, Robertina asked Liz a question. What are 1 or 2 things you would say that guys should know? And let's go for broke hetero against the sexual spectrum.
For broke hetero?
I think he's asking what are a couple things that you think straight men should know.
Okay. Don't assume you know anything. Don't assume you know anything. If it's a new partner, especially, don't go in assuming that she's anything like your last partner. So wipe everything you know about a woman and her likes and dislikes in her body and start with a clean slate. Just because, I remember being in line at Preakness. I used to live in Baltimore, so I was at the horse race, Preakness, and I was in line, like a 1.5 mile long line for the porta potty, and I was in line behind this guy, and he was like wearing a fedora and kind of all dressed up as they do at like derbies, and I
thought you were gonna say ska shows, and I was like, yeah. Sorry.
And he just turned around and started chatting with me because what else are we going to do for the hour we were waiting? And learned that I was a sex educator and started talking to me about all the reasons why, you know, he was so informed already, and like he was on the same level as me education wise. He was and he was talking about how, oh yeah, I know my way around a woman's body, blah, 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 getting all macho about it. And talking about, oh yeah, you just have to pull her hair real hard and slap her ass and hold her hands behind her back. And I'm like, okay, that may have worked for your last partner and maybe even a few of your partners, but please do not assume that is going to be
Yeah.
Something that everybody drives with, because that can be so traumatizing for some other people.
Yeah, exactly. And that speaks like worlds about just the difference in sexuality or just sexual wellness or just what feels good for everybody. Is we're all, it's literally part of your personality, kind of. You know what I mean? Like to assume that one woman is going to like the same things that your last person did is kind of absurd.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of my thing too, is I've taught myself to kind of tell men what I want or like what's working, what's not. Like I've learned that that's really, really important for women to communicate that to their partners, because otherwise how are they going to know, you know? And you have to kind of bridge that gap. So if a woman is ever communicating to you about what is feeling good or what isn't feeling good, don't do the opposite. Just don't. If she says don't stop, don't stop. If she asks you to stop, fucking stop. Like there are
like
Right.
just listen to what's working, because you're gonna get there either way. We've been taught that for the entirety of the world's existence, that you guys are gonna get off.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask questions instead of, do you like this? Do you like this? Because she's got to be preconditioned to say yes. I mean, she might like it, but there might be something that she might like better, but you're not giving her that open-ended question for her to tell.
If we're having consensual sex, you're not somebody whose feelings I want to hurt. And I think that's how a lot of women feel. And that's kind of how we get here to where like most women have faked an orgasm at least once in their lives. I know I've done it a significant number of times. Sometimes it's just easier that way. And because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings ever, whether it's scary or whether we just care about you, that's not.
Or we want sex to be over, we're finished, we've had our fill, and we don't want to hurt your feelings because we have been taught to be people pleasers.
Yes.
So instead of saying, hey, this was great, but you know, I withdraw my consent, I am later.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I think we're hitting at just about an hour. Something that we do every week. I'm going to go around and ask if you have an artist or an author or a musician who you would like everybody to know about or listen to, or a suggestion. I'll let them know. I'm going to start right above me at Liz the Sex Expert.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Oh no.
I love music so much. Ooh, okay. I will talk about John Strawband. Oh my gosh. How do you spell it? Jon, I think, and then Strahl band. My brother and my dad are actually in that band, and they are. I know that people are going to be like, oh, no, family, not that cool. But I tell you what, I was playing. My husband does not. He and I listen to different kind of music, and I was playing it in the background, and he was like, "Who is this? This is rock, and I'm into this." And I'm like, "This is John Strawband," and he's like, "No way! I had no idea." So I'll do a plug for them. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Very cool.
All right, going next over to Miss Heather Sneed.
I would have to say, I guess my favorite band since I was 16, Tiger Army. I mean, you can't go wrong. I love me some American
Tiger Army.
Yeah, it's my first tattoo.
Aww.
I'm super bummed because they had a 2-night concert that they were going to do in Denver, and they were going to play literally every song that they had any steel guitar on. They had a steel guitarist that they were bringing on tour with them, and then freaking Corona hit, and both of those shows got canceled. So I was super bummed and hope they reschedule.
I know. I remember debating on whether or not I was going to go to that.
You should if they redo it, and I'll be there.
I will, absolutely.
Cool.
All right, Miss Heather in Pittsburgh.
So my headset decided to freak out here at the very end. Can you guys still hear me?
We can, yes.
So I'm going to take a different path. I think tomorrow is that Joe Strummer Festival that they're streaming online with, I don't know, let's just say everybody's going to be there.
I forgot about this. Thank you so much for reminding me.
Cool.
Nice. I blocked my calendar. So no meetings after 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Good.
So check that out because I think that looks pretty awesome, and it'd be a good break to just enjoy a bunch of music online.
Cool.
I'm sure we're all craving that. I know I am.
Yes.
All right. So I actually waited till the end to decide who I was going to talk about. And I don't know how to speak words. Going along with the theme of female sexuality, and also along with bands that the Clash like to hang out with, since we're talking about Joe Strummer, everybody needs to listen to the Slits. I don't know if I have brought that up yet or not, but if you're not listening to the Slits, go listen to the Slits. They're super important. They paved the way for a lot of women and punk rock a long time ago. And they used to date Joe Strummer and all that and go on tour with them. And so it's important. And if Joe Strummer liked them, they have to be cool. And that's the law. It's like the only rule.
Joe Strummer
Anyway,
advice. Yeah.
Exactly. Joe Strummer advice. That's my next tattoo. That one.
Yes.
Right. For the bowling ball, just for fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, ladies, it has been a pleasure.
Yes.
I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. And just to end this off, go on and tell somebody that you love them.
Yes.
And we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Bye.